Hi, and welcome back to this special series on the Check-In podcast, where we talk about what it really means to lead well-being at work, at home, at school. In this series, we're bringing together leaders, educators, community builders who support the conversation of total well-being. Today's guest is Ms. Faune Lang. Faune, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Nelson. I'm happy to be here.
Faune, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Faune, and I'm the Executive Director of Food for Kids Waterloo Region. I am extremely passionate about children and their well-being and what that looks like, and the contribution that a community can make toward a child, and what that looks like from a leader standpoint, as a mother, and then also as someone in the community who wants to give back.
Awesome. So right out of the chute, here's the first question for you. What does well-being at work mean to you?
Well, I think it means everything, really, in the sense of how someone feels about themselves, carries themselves, if they feel engaged, welcomed, and if they feel a sense of belonging. So I think it's all encompassing of an individual and their unique needs. And then on my end, to ensure that I'm doing what it takes for that individual to feel like that's being met, or to feel that that's a place where they're able to share maybe where they're currently at.
Okay. And can you share one thing that your organization does, big or small, that genuinely supports mental health in the workplace?
I would say we're a pretty positive group who really enjoys engagement. We like to throw on music every once in a while and just talk about our interests, and then for the common good, how we want to share that.
Oh, what kind of music, I got to ask?
Everything and anything. So some days it's 80s, some days it's themed to holiday music, some days it's country, as long as certain people aren't in the office. Really pretty much what anyone's feeling in the mood to listen to.
You know, it's funny that you phrase it that way. I still remember a high school teacher that I had, and one of the questions he was asked was, "What's your favorite color?" And he said, "Today, orange." And I've carried that with me as well, it's how I feel in that day. And sometimes red speaks to me, or sometimes it's blue, whatever it is. So I'm much like you with the music. My playlist is wide range and so forth. So I totally understand that. What's one challenge that you're faced as a leader when it comes to supporting your team's well-being?
Good question. I would probably have to say timing. So I think it requires a lot of dedication and insight in order to ensure that someone feels fully seen. So I would always say it's one of those things that you can never get back as time, and it's the most important component. So it's always balancing, work-related tasks of urgency and what that looks like, at the same time as being fully cognizant of an individual outside of like that work platform of what you're trying to reach.
Okay. So we've talked about, your team members and how you go about that. How do you personally recharge as a leader when it comes to your own mental health?
Yeah. So I love to read when I can. I like to dive into a really good book. I really do enjoy the outdoors. Sunshine, beach where I can, and most importantly, just being with my kids. So whether that's in a hockey arena and I'm shouting from the rooftops with my cowbell, or whether that's at the basketball arena gymnasium as well too, in any capacity that I'm just around the people that matter to me, it brings out the joy.
And what's your favorite book? Let me ask. I'll throw you a.
Ooh, my favorite book. Oh, I don't think I could say I have a favorite. I do enjoy Lisa Jackson, Grisham. I do like a good type of mystery where I'm constantly thinking or problem solving through it to see what's going to happen next.
What advice would you give to other leaders who want to create a culture where people can truly thrive?
Lead with empathy. kind of leave your ego or certain ignorances at the door and really allow someone to show you who they are without that judgment of trying to determine that. And always just keeping in mind that everyone's at a different stage. Someone could be going through something that you physically cannot see. These pieces are all relative to which someone feels, and we just really need to be a little more open to that. So I would say always lead with empathy wherever you can.
And when the day comes that you retire, if you choose to, how would you like to be remembered by your team members?
Well, that is the goal. I hope I work myself out of a job, as soon as possible, right? To end child hunger. But in the meantime, as I'm on that pathway, once I do retire in whatever capacity that looks like, I just hope that I'm remembered as someone who never gave up on the ones who need it most. So constantly just pushing for change, whether we see it today or we don't see it for 20 years, just knowing, I was the person amongst very other successful leaders who never stopped for the purpose of doing good in the world.
Okay. And I hope child hunger ends as well, obviously. That's a great cause that you're involved with. One of the most vulnerable of society.
Yes.
Yeah. What gives you hope about the future of leadership and workplace well-being?
So hope, I would say, for me, that's always derived from my strong faith and my belief in God. So that's where I rely on my strength coming from, is knowing that there is something bigger than I. And hope for the future is always children, in my opinion, because they just foster what that embodies to grow into something more. They're always listening. They're surrounded by people who are either there for positive or for negative, and they can grow to choose to do something with that. So children for me are always the hope, and that's why I believe that we need to invest in them as much as possible from that entire holistic approach.
Awesome. Well, this went by quick. I wish we could talk longer and ask more questions. But Faune, thank you so much for participating. Really appreciate it. Your insights and advice, and all the best to you in your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you kindly. I really appreciate this platform of advocacy to talk about things that really matter.